What's up, everybody? Welcome to this segment of Diablospot. Today we're going to cover the original Diablo game's lore. In order to do this, I actually had to play through all of Diablo, so realize I actually went through hell. So that was an actual cut from the gameplay of when I went through the Diablo game. It gets really nasty down those bottom levels. So now that you know what I went through, let's see where I started.
Thank goodness you returned. Much has changed since you lived here, my friend. All was peaceful until the Dark Riders came and destroyed our village. Many were cut down where they stood, and those who took up arms were slain or dragged away to become slaves. Or worse. The church at the edge of town has been desecrated and is being used for dark rituals. The screams that echo in the night are inhuman, but some of our townsfolk may yet survive. Follow the path that lies between my tavern and the blacksmith's shop to find the church and save who you can. Perhaps I can tell you more if we speak again.
So we've gotten the gist of what's happened in Tristram, and we've already talked about this in the previous lore video. But now it's time to go into the church and see what the hell is going on.
Listen to me. The Archbishop Lazarus. He led us down here to find the lost prince. The bastard led us into a trap. Now everyone is dead, killed by a demon he called the Butcher. Avenge us! Find this Butcher and slay him, so that our souls may finally rest.
Your death will be avenged.
Damn right, his death will be avenged. And so we go through, or I go through 2 levels of the dungeon to get to the Butcher.
Here's the Butcher. Damn you, scavenger. Oh god. Click mad fest. I'm probably gonna have to go back to town. Not gonna be able to kill him. Die! Before I run out of mana or health. Yes.
The spirits.
So that was the Butcher. He is the first mini-boss in the original Diablo game. The next mini-boss is going to be King Leoric. And King Leoric is actually going to be in Diablo 3. But an interesting thing about King Leoric in the original Diablo is that he is a real pain in the ass to kill when you're trying to kill him for the first time. And he takes a really long time to kill as well. So this next video is actually going to be sped up by quite a bit so that you guys don't have to watch the entire fight, because it actually does take that long. So let's check out King Leoric.
The warmth of life has entered my tomb. Prepare yourself, mortal, to serve my master for eternity.
First thing I gotta say about that video is that that music is creepy as hell when it's sped up that fast. I find it pretty hilarious as well that when King Leoric and the warrior are duking it out, they sound like the robotic little midget puppies when they bark. Anyway, so King Leoric, he's a real pain in the ass to kill. He takes a very long time to kill. That video that you just saw was about 11 minutes long in actuality, and I cut it down to about a minute and 40, somewhere around there. So I sped it up basically by 1,000%. So in the last part of that video, I actually didn't have a town portal, so I had to run all the way back up to town to get it. And there's quite a few videos after that that took me to actually kill King Leoric. But anyway, let's move on, because I actually did kill him. I'm now going to show you some of the tomes that you can find in the Diablo dungeon. And these tomes are basically talking about the history of Diablo. And I felt that you guys should hear that, because I enjoyed them and they're very interesting. So, let's check them out.
All praises to Diablo, Lord of Terror and survivor of the Dark Exile. When he awakened from his long slumber, my Lord and Master spoke to me of secrets that few mortals know. He told me the kingdoms of the high heavens and the pits of the burning hells engage in an eternal war. He revealed the powers that have brought this discord to the realms of man. My Lord has named the battle for this world and all who exist here, the Sin War.
In the previous lore video, I talked a little bit about the Sin War. Every single one of these tomes is actually narrated by Lazarus, the Archbishop, who goes evil. He was I mentioned him in the previous lore video as well, and in this game, in the original Diablo, you actually kill him in the end, or near the end, because you kill Diablo in the end. But anyway, let's move on to another one of these tomes.
Take heed and bear witness to the truths that lie herein, for they are the last legacy of the Horadrim. Nearly 300 years ago, it came to be known that the three prime evils of the burning hells had mysteriously come to our world. The three brothers ravaged the lands of the East for decades, while humanity was left trembling in their wake. Our order, the Horadrim, was founded by a group of secretive magi to hunt down and capture the three evils once and for all. The original Horadrim captured two of the three within powerful artifacts known as Soul Stones and buried them deep beneath the desolate eastern sands. The third evil escaped capture and fled to the west with many of the Horadrim in pursuit. The third evil, known as Diablo, the Lord of Terror, was eventually captured, his essence set in a soul stone and buried within this labyrinth. Be warned that the soul stone must be kept from discovery by those not of the faith. If Diablo were to be released, he would seek a body that is easily controlled, as he would be very weak, perhaps that of an old man or a child.
Let me clarify something. Most of the tomes that are talking about Diablo tend to be the Archbishop Lazarus, and the rest of the tomes are just narrating from whoever wrote it. But that tome was about the Horadrim, and the Horadrim, as you know, are the people who hunted down the prime evils, and we know the tome mentions that they mysteriously ended up on Sanctuary, but we know why they were on Sanctuary because of the previous lore video, because of the Dark Exile and everything. Belial and the other demon kicked the prime evils out of hell. Anyway, let's move on to another tome.
Take heed and bear witness to the truths that lie herein, for they are the last legacy of the Horadrim. When the eternal conflict between the high heavens and the burning hells falls upon mortal soil, it is called the Sin War. Angels and demons walk amongst humanity, in disguise, fighting in secret, away from the prying eyes of mortals. Some daring, powerful mortals have even allied themselves with either side and helped to dictate the course of the Sin War.
So that was a little bit more on the Sin War and how angels and demons started landing in Sanctuary trying to convert humans over to their cause. So, let's move on to another tome.
Take heed and bear witness to the truths that lie herein, for they are the last legacy of the Horadrim. There is a war that rages on even now, beyond the fields that we know, between the utopian kingdoms of the high heavens and the chaotic pits of the burning hells. This war is known as the Great Conflict, and it has raged and burned longer than any of the stars in the sky. Neither side ever gains sway for long, as the forces of light and darkness constantly vie for control over all creation.
So that was the tome on the Great Conflict. That is the war that is eternal, and it is the war that caused the Sin War to happen. It caused the angels and demons to try and find a different way to win the war. Hence, mortals were included into the war. So the next, there aren't too many tomes after this, and basically the rest of the game is just me fighting through hordes of demons and monsters, hacking and slashing them to death. So now I'm just going to show you some of the ending pieces, such as me fighting the Archbishop Lazarus, Diablo, and maybe a few tomes here and there that I found down in the depths of hell. So, let's get to it.
This does not bode well, for it confirms my darkest fears. While I did not allow myself to believe the ancient legends, I cannot deny them now. Perhaps the time has come to reveal who I am. My true name is Deckard Cain the Elder, and I am the last descendant of an ancient brotherhood that was dedicated to safeguarding the secrets of a timeless evil, an evil that quite obviously has now been released. The Archbishop Lazarus, once King Leoric's most trusted advisor, led a party of simple townsfolk into the labyrinth to find the king's missing son, Albrecht. Quite some time passed before they returned, and only a few of them escaped with their lives. Curse me for a fool! I should have suspected his veiled treachery then. It must have been Lazarus himself who kidnapped Albrecht and has since hidden him within the labyrinth. I do not understand why the Archbishop turned to the darkness, or what his interest is in the child, unless he means to sacrifice him to his dark masters. That must be what he has planned. The survivors of his rescue party say that Lazarus was last seen running into the deepest bowels of the labyrinth. You must hurry and save the prince from the sacrificial blade of this demented fiend.
So, that was Deckard Cain revealing himself as being a part of the Horadrim, the order that is tasked with keeping control of the great evil that is Diablo. Sadly, Deckard Cain failed to do this when the Archbishop Lazarus freed Diablo. And sadly, I'm actually going to have to cut this video short because I'm reaching the 15-minute mark. In the next video, we will cover the Archbishop Lazarus and how I kill him. So, I thank you for watching this Diablo lore video, and I hope you tune in for the next one.